I love that game.
Bloody Mary is the urban legend that claims if you stand in front of a mirror in the dark, spin around,
Have you tried to become her baby? Blue baby? Like blue baby, baby blue. Had to do it 13 times in a mirror.
into the bathroom, turned off the lights, lit some candles, and spun around.
Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary.
We opened our eyes, and there, in the mirror, it was a head so covered in blood it was just completely red. We screamed and ran out of the bathroom and went back in the rest of the night. When it was time for bed, my friend's father came in to tell us goodnight. Hey girls, he said, are any of you on your period by any chance? No. Okay, well, there's blood on the bathroom floor, so I'd like to clean it up and wash. The Philippines is full of incredible mythology and fantastic creatures. My grandpa has always been a believer of these myths. That's because he's experienced them. This is what he told me.
Alright, kiddos, come on.
I live in a small town in the Visayan Islands of the Philippines. I was in my mid-20s and working late one night. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning when I began to walk my way to the bus station, my way lit only by the full moon. I've walked this path many times. I passed by this house that had a dog in the yard that would always bark at me when I passed. But tonight, it just stared and just watched as I walked by. And that's when I heard it. A very strange sound in the distance. I had heard of it, sometimes known as a wak-wak or ocelot. It separates from the lower half of its body to fly around at night, searching for any living soul to rip out their hearts with its talon feet and feast. And when you hear its call, you know it's hungry. So I continued walking towards the bus station, and I could still faintly hear the sound. And I saw that there was a security booth with a guard inside. I didn't want to wait at the station alone, so I slipped inside the booth and waited with the guard. I still wasn't sure if I was imagining the sound, but when we looked at the guard's face, I'm pretty sure he heard it too. So we both just sat there, motionless. Finally, the bus arrived. We ran out of the booth and onto the bus and rode all the way home. The sounds of the teak-wees growing fainter and fainter. The next day, I told my coworkers what had happened, and that's when one of them told me, teak-wees are master tricksters. The further away they sound, the closer they are. This is a story that was passed around a lot when I was younger, and it still gives me chills to this day. Let me tell you about the man who's a little too curious. I was driving home from the business trip and decided to stay the night in a motel that I found on the roadside. After checking in, I walked down the hall to my room, but on my way I noticed the door that was all boarded up and covered in grease. As soon as I passed it, I could have sworn I heard someone singing from inside the room. There was one spot of the door that was still uncovered, a giant keyhole, thinking to see through to the inside. So I knelt down and peeked inside the hole. All I saw was this pale little girl singing to herself. It was so strange. Why was she there by herself? Anyways, I stood up in the room and went to sleep. The next morning, on my way to check out, I passed the door again. I still couldn't believe what I saw the night before, so I decided to take another peek. So I knelt down and took another look inside. But this time, all I could see was red. Nothing but red. Did she notice me looking last night and cover the hole up with something? It was all very strange. I went to the concierge to check out, and I decided to ask her, so, what's up with that room? The one that's all boarded.
Hi, honey. What you need today? Oh, can I get my nails done? Okay, honey. Do you like pedicure?
You want to send time out?
No, just my nails.
Why did you do that?
Honey, why you
Because
don't
why?
like pedicure?
You're not sitting in
Boarded up.
them chairs
Well,
like that.
she said, a while ago, a family checked in.
You're supposed to have
A
this
mother,
before.
a father, and their young girl. But that poor girl never checked out. And her parents murdered her in that
Yeah.
room.
You go to the
Well,
floor.
I'll never forget them. They had incredibly pale skin and deep blood red eyes.
Ready, move.
So this is a story that my aunt told me happened to her when she was in her
And
mid-20s.
Arya's not here because she was up
She was
there
living in
overnight.
the Philippines at the time, and she had a niece who was a freshman in high school. So one day, the high school called her and said, "You need to get over here right now. Your niece is acting really weird." And my aunt had no idea what they were talking about. And so when she got to the school, her niece was sitting on a chair, and she looked really out of it. And if anyone tried to touch her, she would violently hit their hand away and yell at them in a cold, deep voice that clearly wasn't hers. So they had no idea what to do, so they called the sheriff of the town to see if he had any ideas. And so the sheriff got there, and it was pretty clear to him that she was probably possessed by something. And so he asked her, "What are you doing to this girl? Why are you here?"
Get up here and sit down.
"Wait, how is that even possible? Where is your house?" So there's this Filipino superstition that you shouldn't step on ant hills or termite hills. Basically any mound of dirt on the ground. Because there's a creature that lives in them called the duende. Duendes are sort of similar to elves or goblins. And they're invisible to most people, but they do show themselves to children or some adults that they choose. They mostly just leave you alone, but if you mess with them, they can bring you a lot of bad luck and misfortune. In the worst case, death. And right outside the school is filled with anthills. So unfortunately, my aunt's niece did not know about this rule. So the sheriff started pleading with this spirit inside the girl. "She's just a kid. I'm sure it was just an accident. What can we do so that you will forgive her and leave her alone?" So they went to the store and they got a bunch of fruit and salt, and then they placed it all around the anthills that were outside of the school. And then when they went back inside the school, my aunt's niece was totally normal. Like, she didn't even know what had happened. And she didn't remember speaking in any weird voice. She just thought that she fell asleep. My aunt is a super
So that
sane
came out of
person.
nowhere.
I have no reason to believe that she would ever lie to me about
I
this.
just
Something
hear
that
Big
makes this
Bang. I
story a
thought
little
it
weirder
was
for
Brody.
me is that
Then I
this
just hear
is
Big
not
Bang, then
the
it's that.
first story about a duende that family members told me. So my mom's side of the family used to live in Hawaii when she was younger. When my uncle was 3 years old, one day he sort of just went missing for a few hours, and so everyone was looking for him. A few hours later, he just showed up at the front door, and they're like, "Where did you go?" And he said, "Oh, I was playing with the little people." So my family is pretty convinced that the little people that he was playing with were duendes. So a few years ago, there was a pretty well-off family that lived in a really big house in Newport Beach, California. A mother, a father, and 2 small kids. And one night, the parents decided that they wanted a night out for themselves, so they hired a babysitter. She was maybe about 16 years old. So when the babysitter got there, the parents gave her a little rundown of what to do. And the mom pulled her aside and said, "Once you finish tucking the kids in, do you mind watching TV in our bedroom? The kids have been having nightmares lately and waking up screaming. And our room is right next to theirs, and so it's a lot easier to get to them." "Yeah, sure, I can do that." So the babysitter and the 2 small children waved goodbye to their parents. So after a few hours of watching TV, it was time for bed. And as she was tucking them in, one of the kids said, "Please don't let the clown get us." "Of course I'm not going to let anything happen to you." So she turned off the lights and went next door to the parents' room like the mom had asked. But the second that she stepped inside, she froze. In the far corner of the room was a clown statue. Just a really lifelike, detailed, creepy ass statue. "No wonder these kids have been having nightmares," she thought to herself. So she went and sat on the bed and tried to watch some TV, but she kept looking over at the statue. Was the statue looking at me like that before? It was way too creepy for her, so go downstairs to the living room and watch TV there until the parents came back. So she's watching some TV for a while, and then her phone rings, and it's the parents just checking in. "Hey, we're on our way home. Just wanted to check in and see how things are going." "Everything's great. The kids are all asleep and in bed. I hope it's okay, but I decided to watch TV downstairs instead." Your statue was really creeping me out.
All right, class, could anyone tell me what 7 times 13 is? Yes, Martin. 28. What makes you think it's 28? What's 7 times 3? 21. What's 7 times 1? 7. Add these together and you get 28. There's your answer.
I'm sorry, what statue? The clown statue in your room? It's really creepy, so I decided to leave the room. Get the kids now. Wait, what? Get the kids and get out of the house now. We don't have a statue. Just then, she heard screams. She dropped the phone and ran up the stairs. The bedroom seemed so much than it did before. She opened the door, and she was too late. So apparently there was a little person serial killer that would dress up as clowns and break into people's houses and murder people. So this story is 100% creepy and 100% true. So my aunt, my cousin, and her youngest sister, Genesis, who was maybe 3 at the time, were in their townhouse in Glendale. My aunt and my older cousin were talking outside of the master bedroom, and Genesis was playing inside of the room by herself. And out of nowhere, they hear Genesis start to scream. So my aunt and my cousin go inside the room to see what's wrong, and they see Genesis crying hysterically and grabbing books and toys and pillows and just throwing them in this one corner of the room. And they ask her, Genesis, what's wrong?
Tell the little red girl I don't want to play with her.
So my aunt and my cousin grab Genesis and they get out of the house and they head to McDonald's to go get a Happy Meal so that they can calm her down. So at home, they remembered that Genesis made a huge mess in the room, so they went to go clean it up. But when they went inside the room, everything was already put away. We're leaving again, so they left the house again. So my aunt was telling her neighbor at the time about what had happened and what Genesis said she saw, and her neighbor told her that a little girl had actually died in that complex 15 years earlier. They moved out like 6 months later. I was maybe like 7 when my cousin told me that story, and I remember being like, yeah, I'm not visiting you guys ever again. I was actually talking to my cousin Genesis about this recently over the holidays, and she said that she actually used to play with that little girl a lot. So I guess that little girl like wasn't always scary to her. I guess maybe it was just that one time she just like didn't want to play with her. This is part of the reason why I don't want kids. Because if my kid started like talking to nobody, I'd be like, nope, I'm out. Have you heard of the Black-Eyed Children? It's not an early 2000s cover band consisting of infants. It's a phenomenon that's been increasing in popularity over the past few years. The basic story is always the same. You're in your house, and then in the middle of the night you hear a knock on your door. And if you open the door, you'll see 2 young children with completely black eyes. They'll ask if they can come in. And whatever
I thought it was
you
just
do,
me for a second there. I'm
don't
like,
let
what?
them in. Whether they actually exist or not,
I don't think the door is
creepiest
open.
encounter that I found online. This woman made the mistake of letting the black-eyed children in.
At least I hope it's not.
So this woman and her husband live in a rural town.
Okay, then it's just
sort of in the
creepy.
middle of nowhere.
Then it's just
And
really,
one
really,
summer
really, really
night,
cold out
They
no,
are woken
down here.
at 2 a.m. to a really loud banging on the door. So they open the door and
Doesn't
they
make me
see a
think
young
like
boy
of
and
ghosts,
a
because
young girl,
whenever
and
you
they're
feel like
definitely
coldness,
not
that's
appropriately
where that's how you know there's
They're
a ghost
avoiding
near
eye
you.
contact and just staring at the ground. There was something really uneasy
Say
about
what?
these kids. And so they asked
What
them,
did they just say?
where are your parents?
They'll be here soon. Can we come in?
So this woman and her husband just looked at each other, and despite all of their instincts telling them not to, they decided to let the children in. So the woman went into the kitchen to make
Okay, the
everyone
pad
some hot
part makes me
cocoa,
think of something
and her
else.
husband went into the living room
Yeah.
and was sitting there with the kids and trying to get more information out of them. And that's what she noticed.
That's
her
not
cat
the way you
was
put on it.
acting really
Yep,
weird.
there you go.
Usually her cat is really
Okay, you go
She
down.
likes to approach any guests that come into the house. But this time, he just hid underneath the kitchen table and was staring at the children and growling very lowly. So the woman took the hot cocoa and went into the living room, and she noticed that her husband had his head in his hand. I feel really dizzy. The woman went to hand the cocoa to the children, and that's when they looked up at her for the first time. Their eyes were completely black. No whites, just black.
Maybe it was the restroom?
And the kids left for the hallway. The woman turned to her husband and said, "Did you see their eyes?" Her husband lifted his head up, and his nose was bleeding. And just then, the power went out. She couldn't help but think that the presence of these children had something to do with this. And so the woman stumbled her way over to the bathroom to see if she could get a tissue. And the two children were just standing there in the hallway.
Oh God, this is creepy.
Here.
There's this husband had nosebleed. Okay, there's these two children that had like full black eyes, no white, no nothing. The power went off. She went to go grab a tissue from the bathroom. She just sees the two children standing there. I'm like, oh God, because look, you should see how creepy that looks.
Over to the bathroom to see if she could get a tissue. And the two children were just standing there in the hallway.
Miss Judy. Judy, tell me how creepy that looks. I know, right? It's them horror films again.
Yeah, it is.
Our parents are here.
So the kids went.
Okay, so if you ever see a kid with two black eye, like full out black eyes, Judy, if you ever see kids with full out black eyes, and your husband's nose starts to bleed, and then the power goes off, that means the parents are here to possess the parents. I'm guessing, the parents who let the two kids in the house. So the normal parents that actually have white in their eye, and not just playing out like black. First off, that's emotionless. Second off, them kids are psycho. And third off, I don't know what to call them kids, the black-eyed children. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, they're wearing all black. Not trying to sound racist. They're wearing all black, wearing all white. So, I swear that dog wants to smack me so bad with that tail of his. He's abusing me. A dog abuser.
Trying to see. It doesn't really look swollen.
It doesn't? It hurts really, really bad.
Did you have that spot right there?
This?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
I had this for a really long time. Not a really long time. I had it for probably about 2 months or so. There's these little bumps right here. I think they're like little pimples or something.
Yeah.
My grandpa said if I make it till Christmas, and it's like it's leaving a scar, but since it's gone already, it's just this part I have to worry about. And if I make it till
What
Christmas,
is it, honey?
I don't know. I forget.
Is it like impetigo or
No,
just
well, no.
cold sores?
Probably a cold sore or
Okay, do
something.
you know what's good for it? Do you use anything on it?
I usually use Neosporin, but
Not on that. You need a lip balm.
could this kind of work too? It's technically a lip balm.
No, you need a medicated one. Because that's what I've been using, and it cleared mine right up.
It is?
I can't remember the name of
Well,
it.
here's the thing. I used to always pick at it, so it's leaving a scar from
Yeah,
it. So I
so-
just put on like foundation and everything.
Well, yeah, you need to quit picking it.
I'm not picking at this one no more, but this one. I look like one of them Indian people.
If I have an eye.
I'm the Illuminati. No, I look like one of them Indian people who has like the little
Yeah.
red dot in the middle of their head.
Yeah.
I mean, I do have Indian blood. I mean, since I am half, since I am half Indian, that could be what this is from, or it's just what's just a pimple.
Native American or Indian from India? Indian? Native American? Once the Indians from this country or the India?
No, but bro, get your tail on my face. I feel like he's going to crop dust me. No good.
I'm Irish.
Huh?
I'm Irish.
You're Irish? Well, here's like,
Kennedy. My last name is Kennedy.
that's a pretty last name.
That's my.
I remember my friend Isaiah, he would always say it mistakenly because my last name has the word steak in it. I'm like, quit calling me by my last name. I remember I cried in first grade because he kept on saying my name over and over again. I'm like, stop, and he wouldn't stop. But now he just calls me Emma Stakely, so I'm like, done in first grade, so I really don't care no more.
Please. JJ.
To the front door, left it wide open, and the woman saw these two really tall men in dark suits standing at the edge of their driveway. The woman waved at them, but they didn't react at all and went in their car, and all four of them drove away. The power came back on about half an hour later, but not everything went back to normal. A few days later, 3 of their 4 cats went missing, and one night they came home to find their cat dead in a puddle of its own blood. Her husband continued to have nosebleeds, and when he went to the doctor, he was diagnosed with a very aggressive type of skin cancer, a type that's linked to overuse of indoor tanning beds, which he's never used. She also claims that she started getting nosebleeds and feeling really dizzy randomly, and even some unspeakable things that she refused.
Don't put that there. Don't put that there. Just put it back. Put it back there. No.
Sadie, get back on your cot, ma'am. You do not feel good. We are not doing that. You're going to be laying down all day today, ma'am.
Used to disclose in her story. So this is another story from my cousin because she's the worst. She was about 16 and she was over at a friend's house for a slumber party. And has a collection of really expensive porcelain dolls like all along the shelves. She also had a Ouija board and she really wanted to try it out then. So if you don't know what a Ouija board is, it's basically a board with a bunch of letters and some words like yes or no. And there's a planchette, and so everyone who's playing places 2 fingers on the planchette lightly, and you ask the board a question, and supposedly if there's any spirits around in the room, the spirits will move the planchette along with your fingers and spell out their answers to your question. So if you don't believe in spirits, there's actually a really scientific explanation to how these Ouija boards work, and it's called the ideomotor effect. If everybody is focused on the answer, everyone's fingers will start moving that direction. And because there's so many other fingers other than yours involved, you don't think that you have anything to do with it. It feels like you're not doing it at all. So if you're using a Ouija board to talk to spirits, supposedly you are opening a door to their dimension. And that's why it's really important to always properly say goodbye at the end of your session. Otherwise, you're just leaving the door wide open for whatever to come in. So I've seen plenty of videos debunking Ouija boards. I know all about the ideomotor effect. I know that there really isn't a reason that I should be afraid, but I will never fuck with a Ouija board because of stories like this one. So all the other girls at the party were totally down to play with the Ouija board, but not my cousin, and so she decided to just stand off in a corner and watch. So they lit some candles and they started asking questions. Is anybody here? Yes. Are you a spirit? Are you a good spirit? No. So some of the girls are pretty convinced that somebody is controlling the planchette, and so they ask my cousin, what do you think? Something that no one here knows the answer to, and then we'll know if somebody's moving it. What animal am I thinking of? T-U-R-T-L-E. And they all looked over at my cousin, and she was just wide-eyed and shocked. And that just made all the other girls even more excited. So they continued to play, and eventually they asked, where
I brought him back from school. His teacher wouldn't let him go to school that day. He
C-O-L.
has P5, but he doesn't play with the baby.
Just then, all of the dolls, one by one, turned their heads to the right.
Right,
And then they
because
jumped
he
off of the
didn't
shelf
touch
and
it.
the candles blew out.
I asked him, does it
Everybody
hurt?
screamed and was
No.
scrambling to get out of that room in the darkness
She literally
without
was like,
properly
"What is it?"
ending the game.
Oh,
When my
so
cousin
I
was
don't
running
think-
out of the room, she swears she felt a tiny little hand clawing
Not
at her
his
foot.
mom, so.
Obviously, none of the girls slept in that room
And then
that
Dad
night.
took him to the
So the
doctor
next
and had
morning,
it
they
exercised.
grabbed trash bags and started tossing all of the dolls into the trash bags. And my cousin's friend's mom came over and was like, "What are you doing? You love these dolls." "Not anymore, Mom."
I know. It makes you want to like Lysol your whole body. Wear a hazard suit.
Love can be a very scary thing. This is an old ghost story from Japan about sweet revenge. It was first form of a kabuki play in 1825. There once was a man named Iyamon who was married to a loving and devoted wife named Oiya. He was a ronin, a samurai who no longer had a master because he had a murderous past. And now, he was a poor umbrella maker. Since they were no longer financially stable, he grew to resent his wife. Then, his neighbor lured him into an evil scheme. "My daughter Alume is in love with you. If only you weren't already married, you could be with her and be beyond belief." Iyamon was a garbage human, and so he liked the sound of that. And so he started plotting ways to kill his wife. He didn't want to be charged with the murder, so he had to find a way to make it look like natural causes. He decided that he was going to poison her. Plotting ways to kill his wife. Table together. Then he offered her a spoon. "It's medicine to help you get stronger, for you and our baby." She was a little hesitant, but poor Oiya was so trusting that she took the spoon and drank the poison. At first, nothing happened. But then, her hair began to fall out into clumps. Her eyes drooped and began to fill with blood. She fell into a coma, which really pissed Iyamon off because he wanted her to die already. Days later, she awoke. She had almost forgotten what had happened. But then she went to the bathroom and saw what she had become. She had lost her beauty and her baby. Iyamon still tried to keep up his concerned husband. "Let's go on a walk to your favorite place," he said. So they walked to the edge of the cliff, overlooking the entire town. It really was a beautiful view. And while Oiya was trying to take it all in with her blood-filled eyes, he pushed her over the edge. Iyamon arranged an elaborate funeral for Oiya to throw everybody off his scent. But now that she was out of the picture, he began to plan his with his new bride. "Now I'll be rich again and everything will be perfect," he thought to himself. Iyamon thought he had seen the last of Oiya. He could not have been more wrong. He began seeing Oiya's distorted face everywhere. She appeared on a lantern, and so he shattered it. She appeared in a mirror, and he shattered that too. But he wouldn't let Oiya ruin his new life with Olume. On the day of his wedding, Oiya had not appeared. The ceremony went perfectly. Iyamon turned to his new wife, but it was not Olume who looked back at him. It was Oiya. He drew his sword and... Everyone stared in horror as the head of Olume rolled down the aisle. Iyamon couldn't believe what he had done. He ran outside, out to the edge of the cliff, and cried. The wedding attendants ran after him, just in time to see a woman push him over the edge. Rings, the second follow-up
like
to
you're
the boy
awake. Are you
film
awake?
The Ring came out earlier
sure?
this month. And so I wanted to share with you the urban legend that inspired the original film. This is the story of the cursed videotape. So 3 high school girlfriends were having a sleepover and decided that they wanted to rent a horror film. This is back in the day when you actually had to leave your house, go to a physical store, pick out the tape you wanted, and return it in 3 days. But when they got to the store, it was already closed. But just as they were about to leave empty-handed, they noticed a small little hole-in-the-wall store that none of them had noticed before. They decided go in. So the girls are browsing through the shelves, but they can't come to an agreement on what to rent. So they go to the counter and decide to ask the lady working there, "Do you have any horror movies to rent with us?" "I have just the thing," she said, and she went into the back room to get it. That's when one of the girls noticed a tape on the counter. There was no label, and it was a little bit dirty. Curious, she picked it up. The woman came running back and snatched it out of her hand. "That's not something you girls should be watching," she said. "Why? What's on it?" "It's just a home movie." "Now let me that I know you will enjoy." After they checked out, the girls went home. That's when one of the girls pulled the videotape out of her purse. "We have to watch it. Aren't you curious to see what's on it?" Once she convinced the other girls, she went to play the tape. And just as she placed it into the VCR, the power went out. Except for the TV. On the screen was a woman, tied to a stake and engulfed in flames. She was surrounded by people yelling, "Burn the witch! Burn the witch!" Then the woman spoke. "All who witness my death will meet the same fate in 3 days." The tape started sputtering and the TV went black. The girls were terrified, sitting in the darkness, wondering what the hell they just saw. "We need to return this video now." They got into their car and drove back to the store, but when they got there, it was gone. There was no video store, just a boarded up old building. Do you think it's real? Do you think we're really gonna die in 3 days? None of the girls showed up at school the next day. They didn't leave their beds. They didn't get any sleep that night. The girls hadn't eaten or slept in the past 48 hours. One of them called the others up. "This is ridiculous. Come over to my house tonight. We're going to destroy this videotape." All 3 of the girls were found dead, charred to a crisp. While investigating their mysterious deaths, police found a trash can outside of one of the girls' houses. It was smoking and looked like the contents had been lit on fire recently. When they looked inside, all they saw was a pile of ashes and the videotape. It's kind of funny to think how people were scared of VHS tapes, especially since nobody watches them anymore. But then again, in a way, you did watch the tape. I showed it to you. If I were you, I'd be careful this Friday. Has anything crazy happened? Let me know in the comments because I am super curious. Like this video if it gave you the chills, and don't forget to subscribe to Snarls and check out our other videos. Until next time, sweet dreams.
If you live in the Columbus area and are tired of settling
with your career,
with your income,
with your freedom,
then turn up your speakers.
and listen up.
There's a live real estate event coming to the Columbus area, and I just read an article. 90% of millionaires were created by real estate.
Forbes.com said, in a year of unprecedented market volatility, real estate remains widely regarded as one of the safest investments you can make. So why aren't people doing it?
why aren't people doing it?
First, people think you need a ton of money to get involved in real estate. Well, that's about as false as Gam's teeth. There are strategies where you can use little or none of your own money.
Second, people don't know how to get started. There's a live event coming right here to your town to show you techniques on how to get started in this incredible real estate market.